I have a specific question about the Jack London one.
Okay, go ahead.
Before you speed through it. You talked about his undergradedness. Have you noticed that? Because here in Canada, White Fang is a pretty big book. That's still a seminal book and viewed as a titanic achievement, at least by the general public. So his name has declined rapidly in America.
Yeah, no. As far as I know, Jack London. Two things in that. Did you see? Did you say you saw the London show?
Yes, yes. I
Yeah,
seen London Death and Judy Garland was the last one I saw in full, and then I
they.
seen the ending of NPR and PBS.
Yeah, they said the experts there said that London hadn't been hit too much by the plagiarism charge, and I think they were trying to soft sell that. In academia, a lot here in America, the fact that London did take passages from a number of books, and I'm not talking about like what I say, how to steal, like taking a word or something and peppering it through, or taking a sentence that someone uses and using it in a totally different context, or a line from a poem to do it. He took large swaths of uh, some writings for a number of books, and there are people who are investigating all of London's writing. They haven't come up with anything, but that's one of the things here in America certainly that has contributed to the fall of his reputation. Uh, but and also the fact that he was, pretty much a sort of a diehard socialist. The fact that he wrote about the Yukon, and the fact that he also did embrace, to a certain extent, this colonialist, the white man. In a certain sense, he almost is America's version of Rudyard Kipling with the white man's burden, even though he's not as explicit as Kipling. But there's that sense that the white man manifests destiny, America shall triumph kind of thing. So he's
He's
sort
a
of
he's a writer that's often stereotyped though for the White Fang kind of thing, and the Yukon writer,
yeah.
uh, when he's not like Robert Service, who wrote mostly about the Yukon. Um, he is someone who's very diverse, and he'll take different subjects. And yeah, I was surprised to see that he was so ahead of the curve with science fiction.
Yeah.
Um, he's even as good as some of the golden age science fiction writers, and he was probably a much better writer than any of them too.
Yeah, he was. So let me just, before we get to the NPR one, the Garland show originally had two or three people. I ended up with just the one fellow. It's only a little under an hour, but it's a good, solid introduction. The World War
It would
II,
have
who,
been good. This is what I'm talking about with the public domain, to have some of her performances or something interstitially put into the interview so you could see for newcomers. Not that there are many who don't know
yeah,
who
and
people
and
are.
I have the means to do that. If you've seen with some of my poems, when I have Bruce Ario reading, and in some of his poem videos, I'll have him. You'll hear his voice, and you'll see something moving. I could do that quite easily in some of these shows like this, but I'm not going to do that and get another strike or some bullshit. But so then after that, let me just give you a summary here. The Who won World War II won three people. That's an outstanding show. All three of the guys said it was the best show that they'd ever been on. And I should say this to toot my own horn. Of the 90, I think I've done what, 91 shows thus far, with the last one being Jeffers this weekend that I've done. I probably have had 35 or 40 of the people that have been in these shows tell me that by far I'm the best interviewer they've ever encountered, or that it was the best show that they were ever on, because I don't ask the same bullshit questions. Those World War II guys, that's an excellent show. And they were that way too. The Unexplained Phenomena show, that also, the two guys there, they were did very well. The Psychopath Inside show is a one-on-one interview. The guy who wrote the book is great. That's an hour and 39 minutes. That's a show that really does well. And the guy, he goes off on about a 22 minute soliloquy, very similar to Sheldon, whatever his name was, Sheldon something. The guy who did that you mentioned about uh,
Yes,
the
I
thing.
know who you're talking about, Sheldon Solomon.
Sheldon Solomon, yeah. I was going to say Sheldon Smith.